Welcome, everybody. Welcome to tonight's episode of the Dr. Jeff podcast. It is so good to see everybody on this Tuesday. And please excuse my absence over a couple of days. We had to make sure that we were going to be falling in line. As I told you, I am running for United States Congress, District 13, or the House of Representatives, District 13, for the state of Georgia. And just want to make sure everything is tight and right. So tonight, I want you to share with some folks. Go ahead and tag some people. I'm going to do the same. Tag some folks. We're going to be on Instagram tonight, along with we're trying out a new stream: Instagram, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live. So we got some folks. Hey Karen. Hey Jill Wilson. Come on over. Let some folks know. Go ahead and tag some folks and let them know. Come on in here. Come on in here. Come on in here. Come on in here. We got some stuff to talk about. We're going to do some real talk. And I want to go over some of the issues that are happening right now. We want to talk about the facts. That's one of the things that I'm seeking to do in Congress. We've got too many people arguing, fighting, and just as James Brown used to say, talking loud and ain't saying nothing. But I don't want to be one of those. I want to be a peacemaker. I want to be one that can work across the aisles. And no matter who it is, as long as we can get what is necessary for District 13 in the state of Georgia, and that consists of Henry County, Clayton County, DeKalb County, Gwinnett County, Rockdale, and Newton counties, some of those cities within those counties. And what I'd like to do is have District 13 become a beacon of light for the United States. As we take the lead in how to get things done, I want to bring that energy to Washington and be a peacemaker. I mean, we just got enough people just talking, and really that's all they're doing. And I don't know about you, but I'm so sick of it. I'm really sick of it. So come on, let's tag some folks. Let them know that we are in the house tonight. Dr. Jeff is on, and we're going to talk. We're going to talk. We're going to talk. We're going to talk. How you doing? I want to know what you guys are thinking about. Because see, excuse me. My allergies have kicked into gear. I tell you, I can tell the season's changing. It's one thing to go out here and talk, but as I have stated before, my role is to meet needs and solve problems. And in order to do that, I need to know what those problems are and what the needs are. How can you go and represent somebody if you don't know what the specific needs are of people? For instance, what is necessary in Newton County may not be necessary in Rockdale County, or what's specific in Clayton County may not be specific to Gwinnett County. So I am going on a listening tour, and I will be popping up in locations in all of my district, and I'm just going to listen. I want to hear from the people because I am looking to represent the people. I'm not looking to further my political career or anything else. And let me say this, I'm looking for donations from friends. I don't want friends and family. I don't want donations from the large companies or all of the big lobbyist firms, because then you owe them. And I don't want to be accountable to anyone except um, the residents of District 13 in the state of Georgia and to my constituents in the United States of America. That's what we're doing. That's what we're shooting for, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to be successful. I know it because I've always just been a fighter for the people. I've always been that guy in the background, just getting it done. I don't have to say a lot. I just do a lot, and that's what I'm going to Congress to do. I'm going to Congress to work. I'm going to Congress to work. I'm not going to further anyone's agenda. I'm not going to, hey, I see some folks chiming in on Instagram. Hey, Karen. Hey, Jill. Uh, Miss Hattie, Miss Sweet Potato Pie Lady. Good to see you. Good to see you. I see my granddaughter is on. Kayla, good to see you, baby. Hope you studied. Um, Good to see you guys. So listen, tonight I want to talk about some facts, and I am running, as I said, for Congress, Georgia District 13. So let's talk about the facts. Okay, let's do some education. Let's talk about what is the role of the United States Congress. So, as you know, we have three branches of government. That's the way it was set up by the Constitution. We have the legislative branch, which is United States, the House of Representatives, and the Senate. And then that's the legislative branch. Then you have the executive branch. That's the president and all of his staff or his presidential appointees. And then you have the judicial branch, which is your Supreme Court and your federal judges. So it's legislative, it's judicial, and it's executive. Three branches of co-equal government so that nobody is on top of anything. And we have some type of supposedly, it's even hard to get the words out because we don't have it right now. But we have some type of equity among those co-equal branches of government so that we don't have a king. As thousands and thousands of people marched this weekend to let folks know we don't need a king. But the United States Congress it's a legislative branch of the federal government of the United States. Now it's known as a bicameral legislature, including a lower body, the United States House of Representatives, and an upper body, the United States Senate. And both of them meet in the United States Capitol in Washington, D.C. Many of you probably know that. You're saying, like, yeah, we know that. Okay, well, some of you don't. Members of Congress are chosen through direct election, though vacancies in the Senate may be filled by a governor's appointment. Congress has a total of 535 voting members, a figure which includes 100 senators and 435 representatives. Now, when you hear the term Congress, Congress is the entirety of the senators and the House of Representatives. So actually, the correct language for me to say is that I'm running to be a representative in the House of Representatives. So we have 100 senators and 435 representatives. Now, the House of Representatives has 6 additional non-voting members. The Vice President of the United States, as President of the Senate, has a vote in the Senate only when there is a tie. And we've seen that happen several times. Now, Congress convenes for a 2-year term commencing every other January. Elections are held every even number year on election day. So 2026 will be that even year where we have an election for Congress and Senate. The members of the House of Representatives are elected for a 2-year term of a Congress, 2-year term. And the Reapportionment Act of 1929 established that there be 435 representatives, and the Uniform Congressional District Act requires that they be elected from single member constituencies or districts. For instance, I'm running to represent District 13. It is also required that the congressional districts be apportioned among states by population every 10 years using the United States Census results. That's why it's very important when it comes time to fill out your census to go ahead and do that. When people are taking a census, it's important to do that because that is how districts are made up, and also how governments get funding, how schools get funding. Funding comes from the government based on census people, how many people are in that district. The other part of that is, as happened to District 13, District 13 has now gotten smaller because it's been redistricted. They call it gerrymandering. So that's a whole thing now. It is also required that the congressional districts be apportioned among states by population every 10 years using the U.S. Census results, provided that each state has at least one congressional representative. Each senator is elected at large in their state for a 6-year term. So each state has 2 senators with terms staggered. So every 2 years, approximately 1/3 of the Senate is up for election. Got that? So each state, regardless of population or size, has 2 senators. So currently there are 100 senators for what? 50 states, because we have 50 states, correct? Good. So Article 1 of the United States Constitution requires that members of Congress be at least 25 years old for the House and at least 30 years old for the U.S. Senate. Be a United States citizen for 7 years for the House and 9 years for the Senate. So I think I qualify. And be an inhabitant of the state which they represent. Members in both chambers may stand for re-election an unlimited number of times. How about that? Yes, Jill, you're welcome for the civic lesson. You're putting it where the goats can get. That's it. Perhaps if 90,000 have had this information, they wouldn't have stayed home. Yeah, isn't that the truth, Jill? And that's the whole. Thank you so much for that comment, Jill. That's the entire reason that I am running. I'm looking to bring transparency to Washington and District 13. I'm looking to bring civility to District 13. That's how I grew up. I mean, Jill, you know the family I grew up in. Those of you watching, if you don't, you know the family I grew up in. We were open to everybody. There was no prejudiceness. There was no judgment. I remember when I first dated my wife, she always wanted to know why are all these people coming over to my aunt's house or to my house. I said, I don't know. It's just how I grew up. Everybody came to the house. We were one of those neighborhood houses, and many of you out there, you were one of those neighborhood houses that it was a safe place. And no matter who you were, no matter who you loved, no matter what color you were, you just felt at home. And I think that we've gotten away from that. And unfortunately, one of the real things that really gets my goat is that how we've let religion divide us, where it used to be a place where we went for love, and now it's become such a judgmental place because folks who lack of education, to be honest with you, in the spiritual realm, they've hijacked religion and made it a place where they can preach hate, teach hate. But I'm getting a little off where I want to be. So let me get back on to this education. So how Congress started, that's the United States Senate and the House of Representatives. It was Article 1 of the Constitution. It requires that members of Congress be at least 25 years old for the House and at least 30 years old for the United States Senate. Must be a United States citizen for 7 years. I said all of that. Members in both chambers may stand for re-election an unlimited number of times. Okay. Now, Congress was created by the United States Constitution, and it first met in 1789, replacing what was known as the Congress of the Confederation in its legislative function. Now, although not legally mandated in practice, members of Congress since the late 19th century are typically affiliated with one of the two major parties, Democratic Party, Republican Party, and only rarely with a third party or independents affiliated with no party. Now, as we have seen before, members can also switch parties at any time, though this is pretty uncommon. Hey, Tina, how you doing? Glad to see you come in. Um, Now, what you need to know is Article 1 of the United States Constitution states all legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and a House of Representatives. And again, remember those numbers: 100 senators, 435 members of the House of Representatives. Normally, members of the Senate call themselves senators, and normally, members of the House of Representatives call themselves congressmen or congresspeople, which basically you can say that I'm a representative of the House for district, whatever. The House and Senate are equal partners in the legislative process. Legislation cannot be enacted without the consent of both chambers. Hear this, because this is important about some of the things we're going to talk about and set the record straight on. The Constitution grants each chamber some unique powers. The Senate, listen to this closely, the Senate ratifies treaties and approves presidential appointments, while the House initiates raising bills, and the House initiates and decides impeachment, while the Senate votes on conviction and removal of office for impeachment cases. So, members of the House of Representatives are the ones that initiate and decide impeachment, while the Senate votes on conviction and removal of office for impeachment cases. Now, a 2/3 vote of the Senate is required before an impeached person can be removed from office. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, it is so important. As Jill Wilson stated, over 80, 90,000 people did not vote to put a representative in to help with the decision to initiate and decide impeachment, and then vote on conviction and removal of office for impeachment cases. I you know, you put you put it together, you put the facts together, okay, and you'll know what I'm talking about. So, are you with me so far? Let me know in the chat if you're with me. Are you following me? Are you there? Am I going too fast? Is this something you want me to go back to? Because I need you to get this. I'm not just asking you to support me, vote for me, and I'm going to put up a donation link, and there's my website that's on there. You can go to that website and get more information, and you can make donations there. And let me tell you, any donation helps. $5, $10, $20. It all helps. And it doesn't go to me. It doesn't, I don't buy a new car from this or anything about this. I don't even, be honest with you, I won't even know if you have donate it because it goes right into a thing where my treasurer gets that information. But unless you tell me, and let me stop right now because I was brought to tears today. And let me tell you, to all you teachers out there, you educators, how important it is. Man, you're gonna make me have my allergies start bothering me. Um, for all of you educators out there, it's important that you care about the students that you teach. I got a letter today through social media from a parent of one of my students. I taught high school for 3 years in Tampa, Florida, at Alonzo High School, and I loved my students, and there was some that I especially had a great bond with, and they were so much fun. I some of them I had for 2, 3 years. They kept coming back, so I must have been doing something. But I just cared for them, and I wanted the best, and I treated them as my own children. And one day, uh, every other week or so, we would just talk about life and the importance of being a good person, being a good contributor to this nation. And this young person now just passed the bar, and she's one of 3 of my students that are lawyers now. And um, her mother let me know and thanked me for all that she did. She actually donated to my campaign, and man, it I never saw that coming. And I'm so grateful because they're a great family. And I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you. I'm not going to call your name, Linda, and Michelle, and Bob, but thank you so much. And pray for me as we go through with this. And your words have really given me the boost that I needed. And all of you who have donated, the names I don't know, I did not see. Let me thank you so much. I thank you. I can't thank you enough. Um, you're what helps this campaign go on. We pay volunteers. We've got to pay for material. We got to pay to register. We've got to pay everybody in order to make sure that this is legit. So your contribution is an investment. So we thank you. We thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. So let's continue on with our education here. So the term Congress can also refer to a particular meeting of legislature. Um, a Congress covers 2 years. The current one, and you'll hear this term quite often. The 119th Congress. That's what we're in right now. We're the 119th Congress. It began on January 3rd, 2025, and it'll end on January 3rd, 2027. Since the adoption of the 20th Amendment to the United States Constitution, Congress has started and ended at noon on the third day of January of every odd numbered year. So members of the Senate are referred to as senators, while members of the House of Representatives are commonly referred to as representatives, congressmen, or congresswomen. You with me? You tracking me so far? Let me know in the chat. I want to make sure that you're on board with us. Scholar and Representative Lee Hamilton asserted that the historic mission of Congress has been to maintain freedom and insisted it was a driving force in American government and a remarkably resilient institution. Congress is the heart and soul of our democracy, according to this view. Even though legislators rarely achieve the prestige or name recognition of presidents or Supreme Court justices, one wrote that legislators remain ghosts in America's historical imagination. Now, please listen to me because I'm going to go back to this statement or this analysis. One analyst argues that it is not a solely reactive institution, but has played an active role in shaping government policy and is extraordinarily sensitive to public pressure. Several academics describe Congress. So before I go on, let's go over this. Um, this scholar and representative Lee Hamilton stated that the historic mission of Congress has been to maintain freedom and insisted that it was the driving force in American government, not the president by executive orders, but by Congress, and a remarkably resilient institution. Congress is the heart and soul of democracy. And though legislators rarely achieve the prestige or name recognition of presidents, stop there. So there was a time where senators and members of the House of Representatives stayed in the shadows but got the work done. They were a driving force in American government, and they didn't allow kings to do what they're doing. Let me move on. Congress is the heart and soul of democracy. Okay, let me move on. Brother Lil John, how you doing, man? I hope you are progressing well and getting better. Good to see you, and thank you for your support. Congress reflects, it reflects us all. I'm sorry, Congress reflects us in all our strengths and our weaknesses because we are a representative of you, the citizens of the district that we represent. So it reflects us in all our strengths and all our weaknesses. It reflects our regional idiosyncrasies, our ethnic, religious, and racial diversity, our multitude of professions, and our shadings of opinions on everything from the value of war to the war over values. Get this, guys. Congress is the government's most representative body. It's supposed to be the most representative body. Congress is essentially charged with reconciling our many points of view on the great public policy issues of the day. I'm just giving you history and what Congress does, what the Senate does, senators are supposed to do, and what the House of Representative members do. So, Congress is constantly changing and is constantly in flux. In recent times, the American South and West have gained House seats according to demographic changes recorded by the census. That's again, listen to me, people, it's very important to fill out your census when it comes around. And includes more women and minorities. While power balances among the different parts of government continue to change, the internal structure of Congress is important to understand along with its interactions with so-called intermediary institutions such as political parties, civic associations, interest groups, and mass media. Thank you, Brother Lil John. Every 10 years, thank you. Every 10 years, the census goes around, and it's so important. Again, we miss out on funding for so many things: road construction, school funding, how many representatives you're going to have, redistricting, gerrymandering, all kinds of things. You got to fill that out. The Congress of the United States serves two distinct purposes that overlap: local representation to the federal government of a congressional district by representatives, and a state's at-large representation to the federal government by senators. Okay, so let's break this down. So I'm running for District 13, which has 6 different counties. And in those counties, I don't have, I won't have control over, or I won't oversee all of the cities in that county. But I'll give you, for instance, let's take Newton County, for instance. Only Covington is involved. Gwinnett, Gwinnett County, which is, I think, the second largest county in the state. I only represent Norcross and Snellville. So they've taken some areas away from District 13 because people don't fill out their census. It's just that just that simple. So the United States House of Representative members, they deal with local representation to the federal government by a congressional district, and the state has two senators. So each state has two senators because we have 50 states. Most incumbents seek re-election, and their historical likelihood of winning subsequent elections exceeds 90%. We're going to change that on this election cycle with your help. The historical records of the House of Representatives and the Senate are maintained by the Center for Legislative Archives, which is part of the National Archives and Records Administration. And I urge you to go and look and see how your representatives voted. So when they come up for re-election, hey, guess what? You can say, well, I saw how you voted on this issue, and you will not get my support again. So Congress is directly responsible for the governing of the District of Columbia, the current seat of the federal government. Washington, D.C. is what's known as taxation without representation. They don't have a seat. Well, they do have a seat, but I think it's like a non-voting member or something like that. But so right now we have a government shutdown, and many people have asked, what is going on with this government shutdown, and what does it all consist of? So let's see if we can get some education on this. So I want you guys, this is part of what my platform is, to provide transparency to my constituents, so that you can know what's going on. Okay. Let's look at what the Republicans are saying about the shutdown and the reasons why. So, as you'll hear between Hakeem Jeffries and Mike Johnson and many of the members of the Senate and the House, you will hear that the major contention seems to be centered around the rising cost of healthcare prices. Now, my wife and I know this very well. We have taken care of my mom, my aunt, and we have, I mean, listen, prescriptions sky high, medical bills are going sky high, premiums doubling, tripling. So yes, fight on, Democrats, fight on. So, and I'll deal with that. The major contention seems to be centered around the rising cost of healthcare prices and premiums. The Republicans are stating that illegal immigrants are draining the budget. The Speaker, Mike Johnson, claims that the Congressional Budget Office, otherwise known as the CBO, agrees with him on this analysis. He says that the CBO says that we have 1.4 million illegal aliens draining the resources from Medicaid. Now, I can tell you this because I know this for a fact. If you are an illegal alien, you are not able to get any medical coverage like Medicare or Medicaid. I know this. So, contrary to what is stated by Mike Johnson, the Journal of American Medical Association, it says that emergency Medicaid for undocumented immigrants accounts for less than 1% of state spending. Do the math. As the young folks say, the math ain't mathin', Mike. In 2022, undocumented immigrants made up 0.4 of Medicaid spending. 0.4. See, the facts don't lie. That's why it's important that you elect somebody who's not just talking, but they do their job and investigate what the facts are. Congress failed to fund the government before the fiscal year ended on September 30th, triggering the first government shutdown since 2019. Now, the House of Representatives has approved a continuing resolution, and you'll hear this term said often as a talking point, the CR. They'll talk about how the House of Representatives approved a continuing resolution, or a CR, that would fund the government through November the 21st. In the Senate, it takes 60 votes to approve a temporary spending bill. Currently, Republicans hold 53 seats, and the Democrats say they won't support such a bill unless Republicans agree, among other things, to extend expiring subsidies for Affordable Care Act premiums. And the Republicans have been trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act forever, what they call Obamacare. It's called the Affordable Care Act. And it's called the Affordable Care Act for a reason. So the Republicans do not want to extend the expiring subsidies. So why do government shutdowns happen? Under something called the Anti-Deficiency Act, initially passed in 1884 and amended in 1950. Federal agencies cannot spend or obligate any money without an appropriation or other approval from Congress. So when Congress fails to enact the 12 annual appropriation bills, federal agencies must cease all non-essential functions until Congress acts. This is known as a government shutdown. So if Congress enacts some, but not all of the 12 appropriation bills, only agencies without appropriations have to shut down. This is known as a partial shutdown. Are you with me? You guys with me? Let me know. Let me know. Am I moving too fast? I need to go back to something. Let me know. I want you guys to be educated. If I'm talking to you, if I'm trying to represent you, I need to represent those who have been educated so that we can work together. I believe in community partnerships. Part of my dissertation, not part of it, my dissertation in college for my doctoral program was about community partnerships. So that's what I'm dealing with here. So now what happens when a shutdown occurs? During shutdowns, many federal employees are told not to report for work. Though under a 2019 law, they get, listen to this. Under a 2019 law, they're supposed to get paid retroactively when the shutdown ends. We just heard our president say they're not going to pay people retroactively. People, it's a law. It's a law. Under a 2019 law, they get paid retroactively when the shutdown ends. Government employees who provide what are deemed essential services, such as air traffic control and law enforcement, continue to work but don't get paid until Congress takes action to end the shutdown. All this applies only to roughly 25% of federal spending subject to annual appropriation by Congress. Benefits such as Social Security and Medicare continue to flow because they are authorized by Congress in laws that do not need annual approval. Although the services offered by Social Security benefit officers may be limited during a shutdown. So don't worry about your Social Security or your Medicare. You shouldn't be, because by law, they are authorized by Congress. In addition, the Treasury can continue to pay interest on U.S. Treasury debt on time. Now, shutdowns can be disruptive, leading to delays in processing applications for passports, small business loans, or government benefits. Shuttered visitor centers, bathrooms at national parks, fewer food safety inspections, and other inconveniences. We just saw that they had a mass layoffs of people at the nuclear reactor sites, or which is crazy to me. So, how does a continuing resolution work, or that term CR? I know many of you have heard the arguments about the CR. The CR. It's called a continuing resolution. When Congress hasn't passed appropriation bills for an entire fiscal year, it sometimes passes temporary spending bills. Continuing resolutions that fund operations until a specific date. So, continuing resolutions often, although not always, continue the level of funding at the prior year's appropriations level. So, there's no need for a shutdown. Now, according to the GAO, or the Government Accountability Office, there were 47 continuing resolutions, 47 CRs inside the Beltway in Washington. Between fiscal years 2010 and 2022, they had 47 continuing resolutions. They ranged in duration from 1 day to just under 6 months. And although they keep the government operating, the Government Accountability Office said that they can be difficult for government agencies to manage because they often have to plan for a government shutdown because they can't be sure a CR will pass. They can't disrupt agency hiring plans, and they make planning difficult. This is why it's important that you elect level-headed people who you know deal with things in a civil manner, those who you know can reach across the aisle, as they speak, as they say. For instance, I have people who I know who are Democrats. I have people who I know who are Republicans. I have people who are fiscal conservative Democrats, progressive Democrats, progressive Republicans, independents. I know people from all walks when it comes to government. And I can tell you that I've worked with them. You'd be surprised. Yeah, Brother Lil John, and they are set at the previous fiscal year funding rates. Absolutely. Absolutely. See, that's an educated brother. That's my frat brother. I have worked with some of the people. If I named them, you'd be shocked. You'd probably tune out right now. But sometimes the enemy of your enemy is your friend, and you work together for the good of the people that you represent. There have been 4 previous shutdowns where operations were affected for more than one business day. In 1995 to 1996, President Clinton and Republican Congress were unable to agree on spending levels, and the government shut down twice for a total of 26 days. In 2013, a standoff over funding for the Affordable Care Act resulted in a 16-day shutdown. And in December 2018 and 2019, a dispute over the border wall funding led to a shutdown that lasted 35 days. It was a partial shutdown because Congress had previously passed 5 of the 12 appropriation bills. Uh, that, my friends, are the facts about why our government is shut down. We have seen billionaires who have evolved over the last couple years from this administration. Let me give you some more facts. Are you ready for this? I know you probably want to hear about what I'm going to do. I already told you what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring civility back to government. I want to deal with collaboration. I'm going to deal with collaboration. I want to deal with civility. I want to deal with community coalitions. I want to establish a District 13 collaboration council composed of local clergy, community leaders, educators, small business owners, and law enforcement. And I want to host community or quarterly unity roundtables to identify shared challenges and build actionable solutions. And let me tell you why. Oftentimes, and I'm gonna get back to the billionaire before we close. We might go over a little bit tonight, but the reason I want to do that is, number one, and I want to do that in every county, especially my district. I want to make sure that people see me and hear from me. That's why you elected me. I don't want to be a ghost. And also, I have found over the years that there are a number of small entities, small community groups that are doing the same thing. And they run out of money trying to do this, while this group has plenty of money and they can't get the help that they need. So let's coordinate. Let's coordinate efforts so that we don't exhaust funding from those smaller groups and we can share and get stuff done. I want to have public and private partnerships, partner with corporations to sponsor youth internships. We got to learn this AI. Listen, AI is with us. You see what happened yesterday? AWS, many people who subscribe to those services, they lost internet service. We've got to have some people who can fix that right away. Some tech people, AI people. So public-private partnerships, sponsor youth internships, workforce training, technology jobs, technology labs. Collaborate with nonprofits and universities to expand mental health and community wellness initiatives. We got to deal with this mental health and community wellness initiatives. I think it was just today I found that Georgia is, I read an article that said, what was it? Georgia is in 42nd place out of 50 states when it comes to healthcare. We are behind Alaska and ahead of New Mexico. We scored poorly. Okay, we scored poorly. We're ranked near the bottom for first ever analysis of Medicare performance by a foundation that promotes access to quality health care. People aged 65 and older rated their health as fair or poor more frequently than the norm in surveys. They also reported more difficult dressing or walking and more often reported loneliness and food insecurity. We got to do better, guys. We got to do better. We got to do better. So that's why I want to do the public-private partnerships. I want to have government transparency. I want to create a district dashboard for citizens to track community projects, funding allocations and outcomes, encourage open door policies and accessible town halls in every county within the district. That's my job. That's what I'll be paid for. I want to bring back civility. So I want to bring back collaboration. I want to bring back civility. Okay. to restore respectful discourse and bipartisanship in American politics through moral leadership and community modeling. Listen, I have nothing to prove. I'm not trying to be famous. I'm not looking to have any shows or anything else. I got this little podcast, and it's just to give you information. Um, so that's going to be that. Rebuilding trust and dialogue. In other words, I want to promote respectful engagement across party lines through civic civility pledges. Let's pledge to be civil, if nothing else. I don't have to agree with everything, but as Stacey Abrams stated, we should be in alignment with each other because oftentimes we're trying to get to the same place. We just have different ways of talking about it. So let's be in alignment with one another. So, civic civility pledges for all local office officials launch a civility in action initiative featuring community workshops on conflict resolution and respectful debate. I want to have faith and values in governance, encourage policymakers to lead with compassion, empathy, and moral accountability. Use ministry and community models to demonstrate bridge building over bitterness. I once heard a description about empathy. It said that empathy is being so close to folks uh, that you get soaked in their tears. I want to see youth leadership and civility. Implement school-based young peacemaker programs teaching conflict resolution and civil engagement. We got to get our young people to talk to one another. So I want to deal with collaboration, civility, and then integrity. Okay? Integrity is important. To lead with transparency, accountability, and consistency, ensuring that every decision reflects the best interests of the people and no special interests. Ethical leadership standards. That means to refuse donations from corporations, as I said to you before, that conflict with the district's values or economic well-being. Publish all campaign and congressional spending online for full transparency. Are you with me so far? I want to deal with better education, better access to education. That means to ensure every child and adult in District 13 has equitable access to quality education, workforce training, and lifelong learning opportunities. Listen, I didn't start my college career until late in life. I just graduated with my doctorate degree 2 years ago. So it's never too late. Early childhood to career pipeline, expand funding for pre-K readiness and literacy programs, increase access to STEAM and STEM and vocational training partnerships in high schools, higher education and affordability, support federal legislation that caps student loan interest and expands the Pell Grant eligibility, advocate for debt forgiveness for public service workers, teachers, and first responders. Adult and continuing education, partner with local colleges and the Fauntleroy Institute to offer reentry and continuing education for working adults. Support digital literacy and entrepreneurship programs for seniors and veterans. I want to have comprehensive approach to healthy living. We often talk about healthcare, we talk about medicine, but I want to have a comprehensive approach to healthy living. And that means to promote holistic health, body, mind, and spirit through accessible healthcare, fitness, nutrition, and mental wellness programs. So, healthcare and access affordability. It means support expansion of Medicaid and protect affordable healthcare coverage for all. Fund community health clinics and mobile care units across underserved areas. Mental and health wellness development, faith and wellness partnerships that integrate spiritual support with clinical services. Increase the number of mental health counselors in schools and first responder units. I know that Gwinnett County has a behavioral uh, health unit that rides with their patrol cars all three shifts. Nutritional and physical health. Create community gardens, farmers markets, and youth fitness programs. Promote healthy home, healthy district initiatives, encouraging preventive care and exercise. And then, of course, economic empowerment. We definitely want to have that. Okay. And what that looks like is real simple. Constituent accountability. I'm sorry. Yeah. Constituent accountability, but to foster economic mobility, entrepreneurship, and generational wealth within every household in Georgia's 13th district. We want to have small business and entrepreneurship, provide micro grant programs and technical assistance for business in District 13. I was a recipient of those type of grants when I had my own. My wife and I, we had our own UPS store, a franchise, one of the leading franchises in America. Workforce development, support federal funding for trade schools, apprenticeships, and green energy jobs. Listen, guys, everybody's not going to college, and that's okay. But we got trade schools, technical schools. We need plumbers. We need carpenters. America is building more data centers. And we got to be careful about that too. But they're buying a lot of land, and they are building data centers. Clayton County is building a $200 some million high school right now. It's going to be phenomenal, offer great programs. But guess what? We need people to be able to build it. We need electricians. We need steel workers. We need carpenters. We need plumbers, electricians, all of that. So support federal funding for trade schools, apprenticeships, and green energy jobs. Connect reentry citizens with job readiness programs and second chance hiring incentives, because 85% of every incarcerated person, they're coming home. So we need to make sure that they come home to something with a skill to cut down on prison recidivism. And last but not least, I'm going to let you go. Oh, just in time. Wow, look at that. Home ownership and financial literacy launch. Launch our Own the Block programs promoting first-time home ownership and community revitalization. I want to expand financial literacy education in schools and churches, emphasizing the importance of maintaining credit scores of 720 and above. Because listen, we all know that what happens in a 720 neighborhood or what happens in a 550 neighborhood, it doesn't happen in a 720 neighborhood. It's just the facts. So we want to get everybody to understand the importance of good credit and maintaining credit scores. And how you do that is through homeownership and financial literacy. Listen, let me close this way. We can restore the soul of our communities through collaboration, civility, and integrity. Let me say that again a little slower. We can restore the soul of our communities through collaboration, civility, and integrity, while ensuring every family has access to quality education, health, and opportunity. Together, you and I, us, no matter what you believe, who you love, what color you are, together we rise. And this is what meeting needs and solving problems looks like. It's not about arguing with one another. It's about getting to a consensus. It's about talking things out. It's about educating one another on why it is that I see things the way I see. Listening to you to understand why you see things the way you see it. And then us coming to a resolve. Us coming to a point where we can do the common good for the common person, for the common community. It's all about meeting needs and solving problems. That's what it looks like. That's what we're going to do in District 13. We're going to get through this primary, and then we're going to get to the general election, and then you're going to have me represent you in Washington and in District 13, and we're going to do this together. I thank you for my time. And I'll see you next Tuesday. And some of you, I'll see you out and about. I'll be making some pop-ups in every part of the county. And we've got some legislative events coming through. And I'm coming to listen more than I'm coming to talk. Because again, if I'm gonna meet needs and solve problems, I need to know what the needs are and I need to know what the problems are so that we can get together, work together through partnerships to get it done. God bless you. I love you. Keep hope alive. Go out and meet needs and solve problems. Man, I'm so happy that you're here with us today. God bless you. Have a great week. Keep hope alive, y'all.